Well, whether after school practice or out on the playground, you know, concussions can happen. But as parents, how can we make sure our children are getting adequate support at school?
It's a very important conversation. Neuropsychologist with UT Physicians and assistant professor at McGovern Medical School, Dr. Summer D. Ott, is joining us now to explain, along with 16-year-old Anna, who has had 2 concussions, by the way, and her mom, Kathy. Anna plays basketball, and we're going to get into your story in just a minute. But, Doctor, let's talk about the severity of concussions, because they get a lot of attention when it comes to sports-related injuries, but for good reason we focus on concussions.
Well, and it's important to note that concussions happen anywhere, anytime. It's not just sport specific. So it can happen on the playground, it can happen due to a fall. So it's not just about sports.
Yeah, and specifically when it comes to sports, by the way, it's not just about boys playing football. It can be any sport.
Right, and I think that's what Anna's going to speak to today, is that it wasn't, one issue was not necessarily a sport related, the other was. So again, keeping parents in tune that it can happen not just in sports.
And Anna, let's just jump over right now. I mean, you're 16 years old, you're a basketball player. How old were you at your first concussion?
It was 14.
14.
Yes.
Was that during sports?
That was during a basketball game, and then the second one was on a trip to Colorado.
Okay, so you fell, hit your head. What can you tell us about having a concussion? We know what mom saw, probably. We know what the doctor saw. What happened to you? Did you have any?
Kind of like you lose your own space. Like the brain doesn't connect like it should, and everything is hard. Everything you do is just hard.
So in that moment, or even the recovery after?
Everything.
Really?
Getting back to me was a hard way up.
And Mom, when you hear that, I mean, I can only imagine, let's just take you back to that 14-year-old basketball scenario when that first concussion happened. Did you know that she had a concussion right out?
I was at the game when she hit her head. She hit it twice, and we knew pretty much right away. She had a lot of physical symptoms, body jerking, headache, light sensitivity, and so that was with the first concussion, and she was seeing somebody. We were out of state at that time.
That's got to be really alarming for any parent. Dr. Ott, talk about some of the symptoms. We can see some of them on the screen, but that's got to be a huge cause for alarm.
Right, so when you can physically see something that you see the person confused or they're not answering questions correctly, well, that's easy, but a lot of times what's going on inside the athlete that you can't necessarily observe, I mean, they're feeling awful, like fogginess, they're having a headache, they feel dizzy, and then those things are often reported, but it's not until they get back to school that we start to see that they're having some cognitive difficulties or problems with remembering things or paying attention.
And those symptoms might come a couple days later?
Correct, as their cognitive challenge, maybe starting to do their homework again, they get back to the classroom.
When is it critical for medical intervention? Because I think that for a lot of parents, Kathy, maybe this was your situation, you wonder, like, what do we do? Do we immediately go to the ER? What's the right course of action?
Right, so we want to make sure that from a emergency standpoint, we always, take that seriously, and if they need to go to the ER, then yes. But most concussions we want to see within the first 24 to 48 hours, so we can start to get the ball rolling in terms of academic adjustments that they may require, the do's and don'ts of what not to do, right, Anna? So she got a lot of restrictions, but a lot of things that were reassuring that what she could do.
And what would be some of those academic adjustments? I mean, I know it depends on the patient, but...
Yeah, you're right. It does. Every concussion is different. So, in the case of Anna, we really wanted to make sure that she eased back into school, some modified school attendance. So maybe she'd go in for half day, one day, the next day maybe she'd try a couple of hours. The teachers were really good about giving her extra time to do things, turn in assignments later, give her help on tests.
And Anna, I understand in your experience, it was sort of like, in order for you to get the same grades, it required more effort on your part?
Yeah, it was harder to get to what I'm usually at. 2 hours of homework for one paper that could take 30 minutes normally. Reading was hard. It was reading some other language, it felt like.
So, Mom, as a parent, you're hearing, and obviously you've been through the process with Anna.
Yes.
What do you do now, or what's the conversation that you guys have had about sports? And, I mean, because one was sports related, one wasn't, but
Correct.
I mean, she's an athlete.
Right. Well, she has been cleared by Dr. Ott that she can go back and play. And I've told her she cannot have any more concussions.
Exactly. We're going to agree with that, Anna. You cannot do that anymore.
So, but again, I've just learned a lot about the concussion and the process and whatnot. I think it's really valuable to have some type of protocol in the schools because Anna has helped her a lot, you know, to get back into the school year and maintain her grades and whatnot.
And Kathy, very quickly, because we're out of time,
Yes.
but is there anything you have learned through this process as a parent that you would say to another parent you wish you had known before you went through all of this?
I would say definitely communicate with the school, definitely get a doctor's opinion, make sure the child doesn't have a real physical issue with the brain bleeding. Definitely communicate with the school, and I would definitely connect with a concussion specialist, Dr. Ott, or somebody that's also, you know, involved in the concussion protocol.
That's great advice.
And being connected with the school and working with the school.
Well, Kathy, thank you so much for stopping by. Anna, glad to know you're doing well. And Dr. Summer D. Ott, we appreciate your time and advice as well. And in the meantime, if you would like to schedule an appointment or for more info, you can call 888-4UT-DOCS or log on to their website, utphysicians.com.
And after the break, Steve Tyrell is performing once again, so stick around.